In everyone. Before we get into this evening's live, I just want to go over a few things that I think are going to be very, very important as we move forward here. There's been a lot of things that have developed here today, and it shouldn't come as any surprise. But the SEC, and I'll get into this a little bit deeper as I start to fire through this live. Let's just say, let me start getting through some of the hot topics. But we know the crypto task force was created. Nice, that's happened twice. Sometimes that happens for some reason. I just say that's YouTube at its finest. But we have, and we'll see how this goes because YouTube's been acting funny and it often does. So if this doesn't go out to a bunch of people and it's not, sending it out, I'll just do this as like an update style. And we'll just deal with YouTube as we go. As you guys know, it's been pretty interesting. But somehow, 2, 3, 400 of you always find your way in here. But it's been a pretty tricky thing. Facts, welcome in. Does it look how does the screen look to everybody? Does it look, is it in horizontal or is it in vertical? Just out of curiosity. Would love to know. Just out of curiosity. But yeah, I don't know where I put my phone. I need to grab my phone. So while it's trying to figure this out, I'll grab my phone. Okay. So I grabbed my phone. Welcome in, Keith. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month. I really appreciate that, my friend. Okay, good. It looks good. Looks good. What happened back here? Oh, I just hit the thing. Look at that. Whoops. But no, yeah. So on YouTube, it just it's been a pretty tricky thing here lately. Jason, welcome in and thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you being in here, my friend. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year now with the I Told You So Bad. So awesome. So awesome. I'm just gonna share this real quick because I think it's a good idea. Mark, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months. I really appreciate that. Tom, yes, thanks. It says don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, indeed. Please do not forget to do that. That's very important these days. And every day. But I do appreciate it. But I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get into this. I just wanted to give it a second to do what it needed to do because I think it's rather important what we're gonna talk about. But yeah, so anyhow, I'm just going to go through this. So, Gray, welcome in. Jason, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. So they did create the crypto task force, and it's going to be pretty interesting, in my opinion, the way that this plays out. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. And thank you for being a very trusted mod. I greatly appreciate that. So we do know the task force. We'll read through some of that as we get going through in this live. But the important thing here is we're not through our pattern yet. So we're gonna see how this plays out. Hey Jay, welcome to Tom's Army. Holy smokes, really? Thank you so much for that. Literally, you just made me the happiest person in the world today. Like, that's unbelievable. That's crazy. I really appreciate that level of support, my friend. Seriously. And welcome to Tom's Army. That means a lot to me. It really, 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 really does. Okay, good. At least it's getting out there a little bit now. Kanto, wow, Tom, you see that? I did see that. I definitely did see that. And then when I seen it move, it's been happening, Kanto. Who the heck just said that? I just said Kanto. I was excited about Kanto because I still have a little bit of it from you. But I don't look at it. It just sits there. It's not like anything to drive home about. It just something on mycrypto.com. But the only reason I was excited about it is because it's been front running the market. Pump Master Flash, as you know, it's been front running it. The last couple of times it's front ran a move by XRP and the alt tokens. It was crazy. Wow, another person joined Tom's Army. Tom N, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army. That is unbelievable that 2 of you have already joined Tom's Army. Like, unbelievable. And, wow, before I forget, we need to go over Algo. I did an update about it, and Iota. Like, please, just for 1 second, if you missed XRP, just hear me out. If you missed XRP at 10,000 tokens when we did it for 34 cents and at 3,400 or 3,500, whatever. If you missed it at $3,500 for 10,000 tokens, and now you're sitting here with regret at 30, it'd be like 32,000 per 10,000 tokens. Right now, Algo and Iota are both in the exact same spot XRP was in, and I will make you a compelling case that they both have the exact same long-term, all-time W that XRP had when we were projecting it out in the future. Remember when we had this drawn out for XRP when nothing was in, and we had, and I'll show you what I mean. And we're in the live now, so there's enough people. Whether I don't care, I actually like it with 93 people. This is awesome. I hope the algorithm keeps us down a little bit because now it's not so fast in the comments. Oh man, it makes anyhow. With XRP, we had the chart. And this was our chart. We had the cup and handle form. This was our cup and handle chart, but we had the projection of what if we have an all-time run-up? And we make the all-time W. This would be the most bullish chart I've ever seen. Well, I might have spoke too soon, and only for one reason. Because it would be equally bullish, but it's the amount that it pulled down. So, yes, I can make a compelling case for Algo as well, because I will. But look how high up Iota went. Iota went to $6.66 and has done the exact same consolidation. It's done the exact same consolidation. I have Iota, I have Algo, so it's not like I'm telling you to buy something that I wouldn't own. And plus, I'm not telling you to. I'm not a financial advisor. But this is seriously something to not overlook. And I've said, if you watch that update, that I was going to buy more Algo today, and Iota during this live, and I'm going to. And I'm going to do it every single day until Algo gets over 45 or 55 cents and Iota gets over 45 cents. That's just what I'm going to start doing. So with that being said, I'm actually going to do that. So I've got 20,000 Algo already. I have 20,000 Algo. But every time I do this, I'm putting another, let's see. So remember how we did FOMO Fridays and Winning Wednesdays? Well, I want to have Testicular Tuesday. Is that bad? So just hear me out. And it just made sense to me, and it just hit me just now. Because we have Motivated Mondays, Winning Wednesdays, FOMO Fridays, and we've never really got Tuesday and Thursday right, but Testicular Tuesday I think would be fantastic. I do. And, because we always have the testicular fortitude moment. And rigid. See, I'm sorry. Can anybody appreciate the comedy? I'm talking about testicular for Testicular Tuesdays. And then I'm reading a comment that says the future is now and the person's name was Rigid. The Rigid. So thanks, Rigid, as we're talking about Testicular Tuesdays. Hopefully that's not a foreshadow of what's coming in the market. We'll get into H-bars. Oh my God, I love this audience. I can't make it up. We can't make this up, by the way. And if you've been here for long enough, and you know what else I told Julie what this pattern looks like? The Hank Hill ass. Did any of you ever watch King of the Hill? Is that not Hank Hill's ass right there? That's the pattern you want to see in technicals, apparently. If it looks like Hank Hill's ass when you're doing a projection into the future, it's exactly what you want to see. Because that's all I can see there. And then if you don't know what I mean, like look at Algo when I did it. Again, you would have to be old like me. Old enough. This was a cartoon from the 90s, by the way. I think it made it into the 2000s, but it's got the Hank Hill ass syndrome. But it's good. This is good. This is what you want. But that's Algo. It's the same thing, though. But anyhow, if you missed, and excuse my French, everybody, but if you missed XRP at those prices, this has been at $6.66. And then it's like, well, Tom, how many tokens does Iota have? Well, I think you'd be very surprised when you realize it's less than 7 billion in total. And I believe it's just, and we're going to get into XRP, believe me. There's so much to talk about. The fact that XRP is not done, but it's front running all of this. The current circulating supply of Iota is 3.6 billion. Excellent. But I don't care about right now. I was talking about the max. Oh yeah, 4.6 billion. See, even I'm surprised. I always get it confused. So 2.72 billion are in circulation. There's only 4.6 billion total. And not to get it confused, I always say it's an IoT token, but it is also in the ISO framework. So remember that. But to me, it's a mainframe one for the IoT. Not just because its name's Iota or MIOTA. But it's technically an ISO token as well. So don't get it twisted. But it fits the IoT framework, which, if you know what the IoT's part of, it might not sit well. But you know, you gotta be ahead. And you gotta be in the ones that, you know, are pushing the future, unfortunately, whether good or bad. So these are just the ones that I can see. And no, I'm not coming on here because they paid me to say it. But these are the ones that I can honestly say I believe will 10x. Because it's going to do the same thing XRP did. XRP's just ahead. Just like Algo's going to do that same thing. And we could say the same thing for HBAR, but on HBAR, for everybody saying like $2 and $8, if we say just the same thing, it's not the same pattern. You got to remember, HBAR would have to come all the way back up here, then come all the way back down, swing around for a couple years, and then come back up. Is that really what you want? No, you want it to do its own thing. So HBAR will look at it on its own terms. You know, on its own terms. But as far as XRP, Algo, and like XLM's another compelling one. That bull flag, ladies and gentlemen, it leaves me salivating. So I'm going to buy a little bit of XLM too every single day until it gets over 50 cents. And I know that doesn't seem like a high number, but you know what? No, I can't do that because I already have. It's all about the positioning though. XLM's never been there before, so that's what I'm saying. Nope, I'm not going to switch my plan. I've already got 20,000 XLM. I'm going to do Algo, and I'm going to do Iota because those are the two that nobody really wants to, acknowledge are really nowhere near. I mean, to think that Algo is at 42 cents still right now, and Iota's only at 33 cents, and Iota's been at $6.66. So that's almost that's a 20x from here. That's a 20x. Like in Algo was at what, $4? I can't remember where it actually hit. 350. What the hell chart is this? This isn't the right chart. This isn't even gonna get us. Oh, maybe it is. I thought it was hot. For the record, I need to look at a different Algo chart because that doesn't seem right. Maybe that was right. Close enough. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, you know, just $3.50 area, something like that, $3.30. But those are pretty big ones when you're looking at like where they're at right now. And I only get excited like that because they are the ISO framework tokens. But anyhow, so XRP, when we started, yes, we've got all of our mumbo jumbo we can go through. But if you're new, the best chart I can start with, and then I'll get into the intro and yada, yada, yada. We'll talk about the crypto task force, a.k.a. the bridge task force. All they're doing is bridging the banks with crypto, just like we prophesized about in 2021. All you have to do is go back to my first video. I talked about it. As stupid as I sounded, I still talked about it when I had no audience. Look, again, the Hank Hill syndrome. But No pun intended. We had this projection, and at the time, and this is not a joke, everybody who's been here, you understand. And I'm going to show you another thing compelling about one of the three I've talked about, and it's algo. And you can tell me if you notice the difference before I go any deeper here. You see XRP? You see Iota? I want you guys to tell me the difference between the three. Iota. And there's a very distinct difference. Some of you might see it right off the bat. And algo. What is the big difference? Yes, rigid. Testicular Tuesdays. It'll take a lot of fortitude to make a purchase on these days, because these will be the unpopular purchases. Maybe popular among some. But what's the difference between those three? If you said volume, you're absolutely right. So XRP's volume, right? See XRP's volume shooting up. Notice those shoot up in volume, breakout, right? Shot up, breakout. But XRP actually broke out, right? It finished the breakout. Look at algo, or not those. Look at algo. It's starting to get the follow through with volume. It just hasn't had that big follow through in price yet. Iota's the one that leaves me mystified, because it's getting some volume, but not at the same level. It's still doing the descending volume. So once that surge comes in, and I don't know when and where it's coming from, but I think it's going to move quick, fast, thrift. It's going to be a swift move. It's going to be a very swift move. Such a very swift move. So, whew. And look, XRP's breaking out of that right now. It's breaking out of that massive flag. XLM is still within. I think it's so undervalued, it makes me salivate when I see that chart. Oh my God, are we just moments away, it feels like. And you'd think I wouldn't be so excited, because we're already up like 600% on XLM. But that's not the move I'm looking for. It's like with XRP. When it went to 90 cents, I couldn't have gave a rat's ass. I'm looking for where it's at now, where a 6-cent move is barely anything. But in the past, it would have had to move mountains to move 6 cents. But at the same time, you know, I'm looking for something spicy. Oh, so damn spicy. So spicy. Because once they get to a certain level, there's no turning back. And if this is the case for XRP, we are absolutely in a super cycle. If this happens. Yeah, I'm just telling you, if these ISO tokens explode like this, XRP is just going to keep going and going. And if my theory's right about the bridging, like I said in 21, and I would encourage everybody, go to my homepage, because this video, how it got so many views so quickly, I'll never know. This is literally got to be some kind of divine intervention, because my first video I ever did is still my most popular video, and it's the reason I became partner in 3 weeks on YouTube. And that is not easy to do for anybody who's ever tried it. But make sure you watch my first video. It says, the XRP, I can no longer stay quiet. It had, what did it have? 13,000 views. Believe it or not, that's still my most viewed video of all time. Now, some of the videos I've made more recently are starting to pop up there, as I noticed. But I'm not a very popular person in terms of very high views. But I get the right views. So make sure you watch that video. But everything I talked about in that video is actually what I'm about to talk about right now. Somehow, some way, like, it's actually going to be, XRP is not going to be the world's money, but it's going to be the bridge currency, and not in the sense of, oh, it's bridging all of crypto with money. That's not what I mean. It's allowing the banks to be solvent, not even just relevant, but solvent, and it's allowing them to be able to have the capital, even if it's artificial. I got to not talk so loud. Even if it's artificial capital, but it's going to allow them to make the books, just like some of these other partnerships with cryptocurrencies with the banks. So when you see this crypto task force, all you need to think of is this is how they're going to regulate, aka deregulate certain sectors of crypto, just like the banks are technically regulated, but as we know, they're deregulated. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. If you know, you can never get slapped in the face with the wrong information, because no matter what is said or what is put out in front of you, you always see the truth. that's my curse I live with every day, but I'd rather wear it with a badge of honor than a badge of sorrow. So that's what's going on. So they're going to bridge under Trump's administration, like I've said, since the election, which I love Trump, so I'd rather it be this way than not, because we're going to get filthy, stinking rich. And unfortunately, you know, it's unfortunate because the more money we make, the worse it's going to be out there. You know, that's just the way it is. And unfortunately, you know, if you don't know and you don't know at this point, you're all, you know, you're screwed and you're out and you're fucked. Excuse my French. But you really, really are. You really, really are. And at least if you're watching, you have a chance, because it's not because of me you have a chance. But if you're still watching at this point after 4 years, or if it's your first day on, the good news is if it's your first day, I've never missed a day since March 28th of 2021, or whatever that fateful day was I started on YouTube. But yeah, it's one of those things. It is one of those things. Crypto regulations, yes, but this task force, I think, is going to bridge the gap. I think it's going to bridge the gap between crypto and banks, if I'm being honest. That's what I think is going to happen. My son's a little sad. I don't know why. What's the matter, buddy? What's wrong? I don't know. He's not very happy right now. You okay, buddy? You want a snack? Hold on, I'll be right back. You want a snack? Yeah, I'll help you. That's all you want? Okay. So we will see how this goes. We will see how this goes. What do I mean it gets worse when we get wealthy? Well, because if we're making money off of this and crypto keeps going up, that means that the dollar is being de-dollarized. And what are you really going to do? You know, what makes this go up is on the other side. Money, remember, money finds yield. So, or currency finds yield, which means the circulating currency and the spending amount is going to find where it's going to make the most. And if it's being put in crypto from somewhere, it's being taken out of somewhere else, which is probably the derivatives and bond market. And if that's the case, and they're going to cut interest rates at the same time, well, we got 4 years under Trump to do what we got to do. And then you can only push it off so long, everybody. So at the end of the day, it's not just the USA. We'll end up having this big hyperinflation bubble, which we already know we have a bubble, but it's going to burst. And once that happens, it's going to be, do you hold the right assets? And in our case, we're lucky because most people who hold crypto, they're trading the fart coin and the Trump coin and the Melinda coin and the fucking, all these other ones that come into my chat. $49.99 donation by 1970 legend on a cruise heading to the Gulf of America on the way to Southern Caribbean. I think big things will happen by the end of the trip. Go, but oh yeah, congratulations to you, my friend, with Ohio State winning the national title last night. If there's a silver lining here, like I said before, they won it because I thought they would, and I picked them when the final or the playoff started. To my begrudge, as you know, it kept the Big Ten 2 years in a row. I can't think of the last time the Big Ten won a title 2 years in a row. So at least for that, you know, I'll take that. and for you, obviously. But no, and if I'm being serious for Ryan Day, I think he got unfair criticism, as I've said a million times. And I think he just shoved it up the ass of all the Ohio State fans. And wouldn't it be bittersweet if he won the title and just said, the hell with this, I'm going to go try my luck in Dallas or somewhere in the NFL? He's going to be a hot commodity. Or better yet, what if he left to go to another college team? I just, anyhow, beyond that, with the task force, I think it's really clear right now. They're going to bridge crypto with the financial sector, which is the banks. Remember, they say the bank is the most heavily or most regulated part of our sector, which it's not true. It's the most deregulated. And as you're going to see under Trump, what's going to end up happening is the big banks are going to absorb the smaller ones. And once that happens, you're going to have a huge monopoly in the banking sector, and they're going to simply be run like Bank of America partnered with what? Oh, XRP, with Ripple for XRP. What do you think the XRP is for? That's going to be for collateral. They're not going to have to use it on the books, but think of collateral. So basically XRP or Ripple, with all of these tokens, they're becoming kind of like let's just say the mafiosa. Okay, if some of you can't understand, think of Ripple as the mafiosa. And the government doesn't exactly control all the chips. Think of the government. Think of the government as basically one of the wings or one of the arms. And XRP is really just the government. That's why I invest in it. I've said it a million times. Most people get mad when I say it, but it's true. I believe the government created XRP Ripple. I think that they're just everybody you see in front of you are part of this. I don't want to get into it because I don't know how many people would ban my content, because it does happen when enough people report you. But it's a whole big game of deception here. I'm not joking. It's a whole big game of deception. And if you know, you know, and if you understand it and you get into the right sector, I didn't do this by accident. I don't have precious metals like gold and silver by accident. I don't have certain commodities by accident, right? It just doesn't happen by accident. I don't own certain things in crypto by accident. Nothing that I do is by accident. And you're going to hear a lot about healthcare this time around, right? You're going to hear a lot about healthcare, and then the pharmaceuticals. When it comes to the AI pharmaceuticals, you're starting to hear it under Trump's regime already, and it's only been a day. How many of you have heard about the AI healthcare, and also the healthcare, they're trying to make it more, not just unified, but they're trying to make it more widely, they want you to be able to get, like, basically anywhere you're at. They want to make it more, not just like in the remote area. They want it to be more to the remote areas as well now. They're starting to talk about this a lot. So my point is here, I brought everybody to the light on XRP healthcare when it was at 1.7 cents. Almost, it was like April of last year. And I talked about this very thing. I said, we have to have forward thinking here, and what better way than be on the XRP ecosystem? It has nothing to do with XRP. They have no affiliation with Ripple. But they decided to build their vision on the XRP ecosystem because of the ledger. They had faith in Ripple, and they have nothing but good things to say about them. And they, they're doing not only the healthcare, but they're doing the prescription coverage. But that's not even the point of it. The mergers and acquisitions, which is a big part I want to talk about Ripple. Ripple said with all their money now, they're looking for acquisitions or mergers. I believe mergers, or is it acquisitions? I think acquisitions, but they're looking for acquisitions, which means Ripple is now making so much bank that they now need to find a way for a tax write-off. And you know what you do when you need tax write-offs? You buy off other businesses. So now this is where Ripple can start absorbing other market caps if they do it right. And this is what I was trying to explain in 21, but now it's becoming relevant. If this is the case and it plays through, this is how you can absorb large market cap. Let's say you absorb a company that's gone 10 billion in market cap. Well, once you absorb it, you're going to get the influx. You see what I'm saying here? So if they start taking down ecosystems that are not so good in the development, maybe they're struggling with finances, maybe they got something next level, but they don't have enough money, this is where Ripple could come in and either leverage some of their holdings, or they could partner. And this is where it gets slippery for us, and this is where it gets real fun. Consider it the investment period of like a startup company for the last 4 years or however long you've been watching this or developing and building in or using them as a way to swing in and out during the bear market. You know, whatever your case may be. Think of it as the startup company is finally starting to go. Think of it if you missed XRP at 35 cents, it's literally like you got a second chance. And then it's like if you missed XLM at 8 cents, it's literally like you got a second chance with XDC. Like it's unbelievable how many chances. But think about it. Look how far out XDC's broke. So when some people tell me, Tom, isn't XDC a better deal than XLM? Not so fast, my friends. Look at that massive breakout XDC's already had. Do you see what I'm seeing with XLM? What do you see there? Have you ever seen anything so beautiful? That is I can't believe it. I'm almost going to be sad when it finally breaks up. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anything besides XRP like that. And look what ended up now with XRP. So just think that whole flag still has to move in the same direction up. And it's not done filling up yet. We had a massive inverted hammer on XRP the week before. We have a massive, look at X, oh my God. It's like when you can see what I can see, it's like, oh my God. And it's like we were so far ahead. By the way, did I do the intro? And the XRP healthcare for the records over 19 cents still. And look at that big ass flag with an inverted hammer, another inverted hammer forming. That's why I say I don't talk about any of these meme tokens. No, you did not, anti-communist. If you did, I'm going to reach through this screen. I'm telling you right now, if you sold all your XLM for XRP today, I'm gonna have to reach through the screen personally. Let's see. Where do you think XLM will stop, Tom? Which breaks out first, XLM? I don't know which breaks out first. I don't like to play that game. Who knows? It could be a case of which breaks down first and rips our heart out and beats us over the head with it, you know? Because, you know, it looks like it's going to break out. It feels like it. Oh, it really does feel like it at some point. But remember, within that motion, there can be 20% drops. That's what's the untold truth about this. But if I had to guess, which I won't, they'll probably break out within the same structure, same moment. But if we look at it, XLM and Algo have a compelling case of why you might go in that direction first. But it's hard for me to say between XLM or Algo. My gut says maybe, let's see where we sit right now. Algo really wants to try to bounce out of here in a really bad way. It's even created a little inverse head and shoulders almost right there on that big bull flag. But it literally is back testing its breakout. And if this breaks out, it's going first layer 59.5. But if it breaks out in totality, you're looking at $1.12, which this would just be the start. I'm just saying, this would just be the start. Especially if it got a big volume burst, this would be the beginning. And once this goes, there's no slowing it down. It did this before in 21. And like in 21... Oh, we got to go way back. Forgot I'm in a smaller time frame. But in 21, we did this almost identically. Like almost exactly. And once it started going, there was no stopping it. And like, I'm not going to go to 19 because that's back before the run I'm talking about. But look at 2020. And then into 21, like, whew. And then once it went, it didn't stop until it was done. And yeah, it had a good consolidation, but I really believe that this is creating kind of the same thing XRP did. A big W that's going to form out of here. And then one day, and let's just say it forms, like, let's just say this forms, and then you measure the depth of it's the exact same thing I did with XRP. So it's not any different than I did with XRP to project it into the future. So then we would say the resistance would be right here. So that means at some point it's going to hit 343. So that's, all you have to remember, if you're buying right now, you're playing for at least the minimum would be that $3.43. And we're just going based on this, what we can see on the chart. Because whatever it was higher, you know, it's more relevant like this. because otherwise you're going to project too far. So then if it did actually break out of this, and this is where we were at with XRP, except now XRP is all the way over the top, which is crazy. It's over the top. And now it's already worked. It's about to work through this entire area. It's putting in the handle right now, XRP is, which is incredible. But that would bring this up to $6.16. So if you're playing this and you're like, what is my upward potential? Well, technically from what it's building, if it reaches its max potential, it would be looking at like, first here would be around that $3.40 and $3 or $6.13. But if it ended up creating a bullish pattern out of that, that's when it could get real interesting. But that's what you'd be playing towards. And right now you're talking about 42 cents. Who cares? 42, 12, 25, 71. It's what we used to say about XRP. I used to say all the time, you know, if I would have had the capital I have right now before XRP made the move, I would have invested more. But I didn't have this capital until we made our moves and things happen. You know, things happen. It's the way it works. But I'm very happy with everything I have, don't get me wrong. What do you think about the negative divergence on XRP? I mean, in the shorter time frames, are you talking about the negative divergence? I'm really not even looking at I didn't look at the bullish and bearish divergences here. Hold on. Let me take a look at which ones you're talking about. Because to me, I mean, I don't really see a lot of, in the shorter time frames, I mean, I don't really pay attention to some of the divergences. So if you're talking outside the realm, but nothing, there's, in the very small time frames, maybe a small divergence, but if anything, it's trying to correct itself right now. We've actually had bullish divergences here in the smaller time frames, if you want me to be honest. The 30-minute recorrected itself, and it's actually being held on support right now on the breakout. If this is a broadening, or I mean, if this is a megaphone, it's actually reconfirmed itself, and if it holds this, Julie, will you shut your flashlight off? It was hitting me in the eyes.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
I know you did. That's why I was asking. I think you had it on in T's room, right? Yeah. But yeah, so XRP is bouncing off of that. This is actually really bullish right now. Like, this is really bullish. Like, think about it. XRP came out of a all-time pattern, which was the descending wedge, right? That was the descending wedge, the all-time pattern, remember? And then it broke itself down, and it broke out of a pennant flag, and now it's broke itself down again, and it's trying to break out of a megaphone. Like, this is incredible. These are incredibly bullish patterns, one after the other. And this is how you get all the way up to the technical moves. It really is. Like, this is how it gets done. And this would bring you up to that 420 level, approximately, in the second part of this short-term move. But that pennant flag brings you up to 539, which is bigger than this. And the overall pattern of the descending wedge suggests 549. So that's why I'm saying that $5.39. And then obviously we have the upside of 549, but I'm going to take the lower of the two. But that's what our target's telling us. So after an almost 7-year pattern, it said 549. And then after the breakout of almost 7 years, the first big pattern consolidation it had ended up being a pennant flag. That broke out, back tossed it, and then that target suggested 539. You can't make that up, folks. And then on the breakout, now the consolidation, it's suggesting a megaphone pattern, which is incredible. These are just more bullish and bullish and bullish and bullish and bullish, and it's like unbelievable. Now, if it breaks down and snaps our necks and breaks our heart and stomps us into the ground, well, that's crypto. But right now, every indicator is saying, holy shit, Tom, this is going to be very interesting in about a month or two, when some people don't know how to wipe themselves off the floor because they're not even going to realize how high they just went up. And for us, if this ended up moving up to $5.39, every 35 cents is a 1x on our initial investment. And we initially invested $3,500, so it's like, holy crap. That's like another 30 grand on just XRP if it does what it needs to do here. You know? And like we say, high risk, high reward, but is it really as high of a risk when you bought in as cheap as we did? That's the crazy part of all of this. And I endorsed everybody to take some profit, buy a little bit more than you wanted every step of the way. Like I've told you, like I wanted 10,000 algo, I bought 20,000. I wanted 10,000 XLM, I bought 20,000. I wanted 100,000 DGB, I bought 1.1 million. Bad example, but that's what I did. You know, I wanted 10,000 ZIL, I bought 100,000, or well, I wanted 100,000 in my best case scenario. And I think I got 120 something thousand. IOTX, I said if I get 20,000, I bought 100, you know, because they were so cheap. So then when I need to sell them off, I'm like, oh, this is all I really wanted. But I still have a hard time selling them off. But you understand what I'm saying? We build ourselves a big wall of collateral. I need to see what that donation said. And we'll get into H-bar, believe me. I know I've already been talking for a long time, but I said I had a lot to talk about today. The King's coming, $5 donation. The United States government just opened an XRP wallet. I'm telling you guys, this is all in the cards. Oh, yeah. And what I said, so this is Testicular Tuesdays for anybody who's new. We're starting it today because we talk about testicular fortitude in the market all the time. Well, I'm going to up the ante right now. I'm going to do this every single Tuesday now, and we're going to do it on Testicular Tuesdays. And Julie laughed, so I know it's appropriate. We're going to buy right now. Well, you don't have to. I already have 20,000 algo, so you can do whatever you want. I did not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, nor do I want to be one, play one, or become one in the future. And I can't tell you what to do. But if you, in fact, have testicular fortitude, male or female, because most of my females have more fortitude. This is what Tom's doing, as Julie said. And remember, I was abducted, and Julie showed you proof. In a way. So, but I'm buying this breakout until this pushes past 50 cents. 50 cents, I'll buy this. Until this breaks out past 50 cents. Because I just want to keep building into it. And I want to make sure my audience is actually paying attention. So, and I don't have any remorse. Like I said, I don't have any remorse about this one. This is one like Iota that I don't care. It could go to 0 and I would ride it to 0. So, hey, you know, you preach, you fight, and with algo for educational purposes, obviously. We're going to do, because I already have 20,000, you can do how many you want. I'm going to just do my $50 additional purchase. And we're going to do it every week, or maybe it'll be a couple times a day. Maybe it'll be a couple times a day, or a couple times a week. I don't know. But at least for right now, I want to buy, I'll buy 100 100 more algo. Because after all, we're going to do this over time as well. And then because I want to have certain things that are not breaking out yet, but you have to make it up for yourself. So I'm not asking for a lot. You're not asking for a lot. You know, it's just, it is what it is. And then, you know, over time it builds into something. But if you already own it, I'm building into a play out here as well. We're building into a rally. So there's 100 more there. Buy. Confirm. Okay, so there's 100 more there. It's like 42 bucks, 41, 42, wherever it's at, maybe 43. So there's that. And then I would highly encourage everybody to pay attention to Iota. Don't forget about Iota, please. Please. Everybody seems to forget about Iota. Don't forget about Iota. I have 14,000. I'll buy 100 more. I'll have 14,573 if I buy 100 more. So I'm going to buy. I'm going to confirm. This is on BITUNIX, by the way. I'll show you where I do it on my thing after. And then you can do algo as well on BITUNIX. That's what I would encourage if you're not on crypto.com, because I would just send it there from BITUNIX. So if you're looking to buy Iota or algo or Iota, this is where I do it. And as far as this goes, these are no KYC exchanges, so you can do it in confidence and privacy. But BITUNIX is the lowest spot in leverage trading fees, the lowest maker taker, so you have the lowest fees hands down. So a lot of times what I do is I buy it from BITUNIX and then I send it over to crypto.com or wherever it's going because they have the cheapest fees. Yeah, and yeah, that's the thing. On BITUNIX, you have to buy Iota in the futures market. You have to buy it on a 1x, or you can buy it on HOTCOIN and spot. But I don't know if they let you withdraw Iota anymore. They used to, but I think they might have not allowed that anymore. So, but HOTCOIN, you can buy it in spot, and that's where they have like XDC, VELO, and a couple others. But BITUNIX is where I have my Iota. I just have it on the derivative side, or on the future side in 1x. You know, I just have it sitting in there. It's still like having a spot because you're not opening any kind of leverage. But unfortunately, right now, you have to let it sit in that side. But that's how I do it. And then, like, the other thing is like with the crypto.com debit card, or like when I talk about crypto.com for the 25,000 Visa, the other reason I talk about it so much right now is the CRO token, which you have to lock up. It might not be a bad time to get that Ruby card or whatever like I have, because this is going to break out of this bull flag eventually. And if you look at that chart, like eventually this is going to rip. And we'll talk more about that later, but my son is going to come out here and he's not having it.
Oh, he's happy.
He's happy now, good. But I don't think he's going to want me to keep talking. But yeah, so we'll get to this more. And William, I really appreciate you, my friend. But I'm gonna end this right now so I can be with my son. So I appreciate all of you, but we'll continue this discussion tomorrow. I really appreciate everybody. Hope you got something out of this. Have a